Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. I'm filming for July 17th, so if it's nowhere near July 17th, click up here. This is a link to all the Friday Fishing Reports, and we do it every week, so I've probably got something more up to date for you. Just came back from a fishing trip. It was awesome. Fishing wasn't awesome, but we hooked some fish, and so I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of the observations because the water is warming up in the Kamloops region when we're looking at different elevation lakes. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple tips that we use when we're using our sounders to locate where the fish were at different depths dependent on the temperature. Should be useful for you guys going out lake fishing. We've also got a cool new style of fishery. Well, maybe not new for everybody out there, but new to us. And that's one of our young guys, Taylor, who just started working with us, is an avid lake angler, but an avid lake angler who uses a downrigger. These are interesting fisheries that we don't talk about very much, and he's going to go over how you can maybe take your saltwater skills that you've used for Chinook, stick it on a lake boat, and do some really cool downrigger fishing for kokanee, bull trout, and other species around the lower mainland and a little bit farther afield in the written version of the report. We have an update on the Vedder. I drove over it. It's still darn high. It's in the grass, but we heard a couple reports of Chinook this week, and Alex has a bunch more details on that in the written. Capilano is starting to fish well. We're starting to hear some beach reports that are more positive, and guys are getting them, so that's worth looking at. Aiden's got an update for us in the written version of the report on that front. Also, on the saltwater front, on the 15th, we had a couple limited areas open for retention of Chinook. That's the 80 centimeter size. I showed you guys that with my trusty Ganjin cord. So it is small, but we can keep fish. Jay's over there right now as I'm filming, so we're gonna have some updates there. And we're also gonna have some updates on how to target coho, because obviously hatchery coho are something we can do in a lot of the areas around the lower mainland right now. And we're gonna share with you some tips on gear, on techniques, as well as some tweaks on how you might ride the boat or set up the downrigger to specifically target coho a little bit more effectively. Last but not least, we have a Skagit update. Water's still high, but it's coming down. I'm going to share with you guys some really positive reports for some guys that put in the time, did the bushwhacking, fended off the mosquitoes, but the fishing was good for them, and so it's definitely worth looking at. We're going to look at how we expect that water level to come down over the next couple days. As always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get into her. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in with me this week. I had an excellent weekend, got out fishing. Daughter got to drive the boat. It was super fun. Jay and I got away for some lake fishing. I'm gonna talk about that in a sec, but let's take a look at the weather first because it looks like we're gonna have a decent one. I heard jokes of fall with the weather that we've been having over the last month, and the silver lining is with cooler weather, we have seen an extended lake season. And so when we roll it out to Vancouver, we're going to see some rain on Friday as you guys are watching this, but it should be nice. 23s, 25s, 26s going into Monday, so that looks great if you're getting out in the local area. When we roll it up to Kamloops, it is a similar story. A little bit of weather Thursday. Full disclosure, I'm filming Wednesday night, so again, these slides will update. Always check your weather when you're going out. But Friday looks nice, rolling into 26, 27, 27, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so getting warmer. Still not seeing normal weather for this time of year up here. If you want to know what that is, check out the 14-day trend here. And you can see that we're just below averages, but moving in the right direction. But that still should be good for lake fishing. And with lake fishing in mind, we were out and we were looking at water temperatures. We picked a couple random middle of nowhere lakes. We'd never been to them before and had some fun trying to figure them out. Now, I won't lie, we weren't overly successful. We did hook a handful of fish. We put 6 or 7 fish on the board in sort of a 5-hour period. We only had the morning, Jay and I, to get out. But we didn't have luck dialing it in until we started really searching. So what we were doing was we were doing wind drifts, looking at different depths. So we would sort of wind drift an area with our sounder, looking for sign, looking for fish. We were blind casting at that point, leeches on sort of a type 3 sinking line, searching for fish. And when we started picking them up, either on the rod or on the sounder, we'd anchor and try to figure it out. First we tried shallow, then we tried a standard sort of 15 to 18 shoal area. We found the fish sitting at sort of 21, 22, 23 feet, which makes sense. The water temperature was like 62, 63 degrees, which it explains why those fish were deep. They wanted to go to that cooler water where there's higher oxygen content. So again, if you guys are getting out and you have a sounder, start doing wind drifts of areas that have general depths. When you start seeing noticeable fish on that sounder, or you're seeing sign of fish when you're in your searching, anchor up and try to dial it in, either in cast and retrieve method or on indicator fishing. Now, casting a 22-foot leader kind of sucks. We were using some straight line, sort of sinking line chronomen tactics, as well as long line leaders, and had some success. But that's kind of what you got to do right now when we're looking at water temperatures. Search shallow, search mid-depth, search the deep water, and see for sign, and then anchor up when you start seeing a concentration of fish, either on your sounder or you're getting bites as you're trolling through a given area. Next weekend, I'm going up again, so I'm going to hope to have some more info for you. I've got a friend's birthday up in the Skagit area. I'm really excited for it. We'll have some more lake stuff for you when that happens. Now, on the saltwater front, wanted to share this with you guys because we do have an opening. We're going to pull up our trusty map. Again, thanks to the guys that did this, that made the fisheries map a little bit more legible. But when we look out at area 29.2, and it is going to be for retention of Chinook under 80 centimeters. Of course, max centimeter rating, I'll put it up here, I can always forget. But here's my Ganjin cord, so you guys can see what 80 centimeters looks like, get it in the frame. Yeah, that's a decent fish. I mean, that's a perfect fish for dinner, and you can definitely retain it. So that's cool. Jay's over there right now. We're gonna have more reports there. We're also gonna have a detailed look at some coho fishing tactics for you guys when it comes to the local waters. We're looking at different setups using cool little tricks, smaller flashers, stuff that can make coho fishing fun, as well as some techniques on the speeds and what you're looking for in water. So if you're a saltwater guy and you're doing both, either Chinook across the strait or you're targeting coho, you wanna check that out in the written version of the report. Okay, now what else do I got for you? Well, Taylor's got that cool piece on downrigger fishing in some of our local lakes. Now, this is something that we don't talk about much because not as many guys do it, but you can absolutely take a lake boat out, put either a hand crank downrigger on it, or heck, your saltwater style downrigger, and do really well for bull trout, dollies, call them the same thing if you will, as well as kokanee. And kokanee are a really cool one. They rip line, they do a bunch of fun stuff, and you can fly fish for those as well. But Taylor has got a piece on how to do basic downrigger fishing in those lakes, and there's a lot of options in the Lower Mainland to look at that. Make sure you check that out in the written as well. Also on the Capilano front, we've heard better beach fishing reports. Andre is back, he took some time off, and we're getting more reports coming in every day. We heard some good stuff from the beach as well as good stuff from the cable pool this week, which is the first sort of better reports. That means there's some fish pushing in, and so watch your river levels, consider the beach, look at the tides. You're looking for low tides early in the morning or low tides late at night if you're a fly fisherman. If you are a gear angler, you can sit in a lot of different spots and aren't as limited by the tides. And what I love to do is use a chunk of pencil lead or an egg weight in front of usually a spinner or a spoon that's smaller than you might normally fish out there. I find that the slightly smaller presentations, blue foxes and purple chartreuses, sometimes orange, but sort of in a size 4 or size 3, are really, really effective, and you can blast them out a country mile. Buzz bombs also work, but sometimes this time of year they're a little bit big to get the distance you need to make the cast. On the fly front, like I said, Andre's got more flies for us. Come on down to the shop. We've got a good selection here. You'll want to check that out. Lastly, on the Skagit, we had a bunch of guys out, and they did well. Definitely good reports from down at the lake. We had a couple guys come in with comments saying that, hey, you can't take an engine up the lake and that the boat launch is closed. These are all things we knew, and there are things called oars as well as boats that you can car top and just throw in yourself. But thanks for the comment, we really appreciate it. So don't take your boat in there if you need to launch it at a boat launch. From what I've heard, it is still closed, but you can definitely do a car top, something you can throw in, pump up, get into that area. Definitely worth looking at, as well as now that the water's coming down a bit, if you're game to bushwhack, it is worth it. We heard reports of bull trout in sort of mid-river, as well as lots of rainbows, as well as a few more hatches coming off. So guys, being able to do some dry fly fishing sort of in the mid to the end of the day, which makes sense for this time of year. I'm gonna throw water levels up here and again correlate with last year. We're getting closer, so that's good. You can start thinking about a trip in the next week or two and have at least hikeable water levels. Well guys, that's everything I've got for you this week. I promise to have more fly tying videos coming soon. Jordan's got a beach pattern that I just haven't been able to get out. You might see it by now. We'll see if I can get off my butt and get it going for you guys. And as always, if you guys want to see more reports like this, consider hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you next week.